summer of 1665, London was dying. Church bells rang non-stop. Homes were sealed shut. Red crosses were painted on doors. Entire families vanished overnight. The Great Plague of London killed nearly 100,000 people, about 1 out of every 4 Londoners. Yet, across the Atlantic, in the American colonies, something strange happened. The plague never took hold. No mass graves. No citywide collapse. No societal breakdown like Europe. So today, we ask a powerful question. Why did the plague destroy London but miss America? The answer is not luck. It's a story of cities, ships, rats, climate, culture, and timing. This is the hidden history of the 1600s and why 2 worlds face the same disease but very different fates. The plague was caused by a bacterium called Yersinia pestis. It spread mainly through fleas, rats, human contact. There were 3 forms. Bubonic plague, swollen lymph nodes called buboes. Septicemic plague infection in the bloodstream. Pneumonic plague spread through coughing, nearly always fatal. In the 1600s, no one knew about bacteria. People blamed bad air, God's punishment, witchcraft, astrology. Doctors wore strange beaked masks filled with herbs, believing smells caused disease. In reality, the plague followed trade routes, ships, and crowded cities. And no city was more vulnerable than London. London in the 1600s was exploding in size. By 1665, over 500,000 people. Narrow streets, wooden buildings, open sewers, trash everywhere. People lived packed together. 10 or more people often shared a single room. Rats thrived. Fleas spread easily. Disease moved fast. London was also the center of global trade. Ships arrived daily from Europe, Africa, Asia. Each ship brought goods, and sometimes death. Once the plague entered London, it had everything it needed to spread. Most historians believe the plague reached London through merchant ships from the Netherlands. These ships carried cloth, grain, spices, rats hiding below deck. In late 1664, the first cases appeared in poor neighborhoods. At first, officials tried to hide it. Trade meant money. Admitting plague meant shutdown. By the time London reacted, it was too late. The city became a breeding ground for death. Once the plague spread, life collapsed. If someone got sick, the house was sealed. A red cross was painted on the door. Guards prevented escape. Whole families died inside. Bodies filled the street. Mass graves were dug at night. The rich fled the city. The poor had nowhere to go. Doctors could do nothing. Medicine failed. Prayer was the only comfort. Fear ruled London. But across the ocean, the story was very different. The American colonies were nothing like London. In the mid-1600s, total population was small. Towns were spread out. No massive cities. Far fewer ships. Most colonists lived on farms. Homes were spaced far apart. Waste didn't pile up the same way. Rats existed, but not in the same numbers. Fleas struggled to spread. The plague needs density. America didn't have it. London was connected to the world. America was still on the edge of it. Ships to London arrived constantly. From plague-affected ports, often poorly inspected, ships to America were fewer, took much longer, often isolated. The longer journey killed many rats and fleas. By the time ships reached America, the disease often burned itself out. Less trade meant less exposure. Climate played a quiet but powerful role. Europe had cooler, damper cities, ideal conditions for fleas. Many parts of colonial America had harsher winters, hot summers, different rat species. These conditions made it harder for plague fleas to survive. Nature itself acted as a barrier. The colonies learned from Europe's suffering. Ports like Boston and New York introduced ship inspections, isolation rules, early quarantines. If illness was suspected, ships were turned away. Crews were isolated. These weren't perfect, but they helped. Ironically, being less advanced saved lives. Less movement meant less disease. It's important to be honest. While the plague missed colonial cities, Native American populations suffered devastating losses, but from different diseases. Smallpox, measles, and influenza arrived earlier and spread rapidly. However, plague specifically never gained a foothold. Different diseases followed different paths. History is complex and often tragic. So why did the plague destroy London but miss America? Because of smaller populations, less dense cities, fewer ships, longer travel times, different climate, early quarantine efforts. The plague needed a city like London. America, at the time, wasn't one. By 1666, the plague began to fade. Then disaster struck again. The Great Fire of London burned much of the city. It destroyed rat nests, flea habitats, infected buildings. Rebuilding led to wider streets, brick homes, better sanitation. The fire unintentionally helped end the plague era. The plague teaches us something powerful. Disease is not just biology. It's geography. It's society. It's how we live. London paid the price for density and trade. America was spared by isolation and simplicity. History reminds us, progress brings risk, and sometimes survival comes from distance. The plague didn't choose London because it was evil. It chose London because it was connected. And it missed America not by miracle, but by circumstance. If you enjoyed this deep dive into hidden history, like, subscribe, and comment below.